Hello, everyone, and welcome. You are watching Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. It is Sunday, December 27, 2020. Tonight, we have updates from several of our correspondents across North America. Ace Ramirez in Gaithersburg, Maryland, tells us about the new coronavirus mutation and if we should be worried about it. Next, we go to our bureau chief, Thomas Likeness in Edmonton, Alberta.
Two groups in Alberta, prisoners and paramedics, well, they're both clamoring for the COVID-19 vaccine.
Eliza Gonzalez, Manglikmot in Washington.
Washington, D.C. proclaims December 24, 2020 as Dr. Anthony S. Fauci Day.
Lovely Anderson in Fort Worth, Texas.
Fire department monitors large mulch fire in Fort Worth, Texas.
For business news, Lori Jarvina in Las Vegas.
Amazon continues investments in Nevada with 8 new sites.
Our Hawaii Bureau gives us a new normal travel idea as we welcome the new year. Jim Sewell in Pensacola, Florida, shares with us some tips on how to keep those vegetable gardens productive all year. Plus, EBC friend Gia Ganuelas-Roldan invites us to her kitchen in San Antonio, Texas, for some easy, no-bake, 5-ingredient Oreo cheesecake. And for tonight's virtual roundtable, make sure you stick around. We get to play the fruit and veggie alphabet game. But first, an overview of today's COVID-19 numbers. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, December 27, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 80,627,000. Top 3 on the list of countries with recorded cases: U.S. at number 1 with 19 million, followed by India with 10.1 million, and Brazil with 7.4 million. More than 1,762,000 lives worldwide have succumbed to this virus. Again, top 3 countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are U.S. with more than 332,000, Brazil more than 190,000, and lastly, India more than 147,000. EU countries on Sunday embarked on a vaccination campaign to defeat the nightmare of COVID-19, with the first to be immunized expressing emotion and leaders hailing a milestone in the fight against the pandemic. The vaccine is a glimmer of hope for a continent yearning for a return to normal from a pandemic that has killed, according to an AFP tally, 1.76 million people worldwide since emerging in China late last year, and caused at least 80 million confirmed cases. But polls have shown many Europeans are unwilling to take the vaccine, which could impede its effectiveness in beating the virus, while it will take months for large chunks of the population to be immunized. In Greece, the first in line was nurse Efstasia Kampisoli, who flashed a V sign while being vaccinated, and later told ERT TV it was a great honor for her, but also for those working on the front line. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen hailed the campaign start as a touching moment of unity and a European success story, adding the process will help to get our normal lives back gradually. Countries are, however, showing different strategies, with Italy focusing on health workers, France, the elderly, and the Czech Republic. Greece and Slovakia, political leaders at the front of the queue. Meanwhile, President Hassan Rouhani said Saturday that Washington was demanding Iranian transactions for novel coronavirus vaccines pass through U.S. banks and expressed fear the money could be seized. U.S. President Donald Trump has imposed wave after wave of sanctions on the Islamic Republic since 2018, when he unilaterally withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal. Iran has assets frozen in several countries, including in the U.S. Take a look.
پول خواستیم از یک کشوری منتقل بکنیم که پول ما اونجا هست. اون کشور قبول کرده، اوفک هم به ظاهر گفته اشکال نداره، بعد گفته این پول حتما باید بیاد اول توی بانک آمریکایی، بعد از بانک آمریکایی منتقل بشه. خب کی اعتماد میکنه به شما آدم‌هایی که هیچ کجا نمیشه به شما اعتماد کرد؟ هر جا پول ما رو پیدا کردید دزدیدید. شما که در دزدی معروفید و ما چجور به دزد اعتماد کنیم؟
In theory, medicines are exempt from the sanctions, but in reality, international banks tend to turn down transactions involving Iran to avoid being exposed to potential litigation. In April, the Iranian president said the country had won a legal victory over $1.6 billion of its assets that had long been frozen on a U.S. request in Luxembourg. The Islamic Republic has been battling the Middle East's deadliest outbreak of the novel coronavirus since February, with almost 1,195,000 cases and over 54,500 deaths, according to official figures. Health Minister Saeed Namaki said early this month that Iran had pre-purchased about 16.8 million vaccine doses via COVAX, without specifying which vaccine. COVAX is an international initiative that aims to ensure equitable access to coronavirus vaccines for all countries. Rouhani said Saturday the vaccine purchase could be more costly and be delayed, but it will certainly happen. The health ministry said Iran has also called for volunteers for the start of clinical trials for its own vaccine, which it began to develop in the spring. In India, young trainees learn how to vaccinate at a COVID-19 vaccination training program ahead of vaccine approvals and rollouts in the country. The national government has yet to approve any vaccines, but hopes to start immunizations early next year.
The scale is, of course, enormous. It is 600 million doses across 36 states. What this entails is working out transport, working out what's called cold chain logistics, which is cold chain space, working out additional syringe requirements, additional biomedical waste disposal requirements, and so on. And the current plan is to rope in government paramedics who would be able to vaccinate, plus the private sector health providers and paramedics.
We have close to 24 lakh resources who have to deliver vaccine for 1.3 billion population. And COVID-19 vaccine, most of the vaccines are dual dose vaccines. That means you have to deliver 2 doses for each individual. So you are aiming at 2.6 billion doses of equitable distribution of vaccine across India. For such need, you need a huge amount of human resources who can actually deliver it in safe settings.
अगर मैं ये जॉब करती, अगर ट्रेनिंग के बाद तो मुझे जॉब मिलती, तो उसके द्वारा मैं मेरे पेरेंट्स को सपोर्ट कर सकती हूँ, मेरे मम्मी के जो भी लोन है उसे पूरा कंप्लीट कर सकती, ये मुझे कॉन्फिडेंट है।
बिजनेस जैसा कि अब कोरोना आया था कि बिजनेस रुक गया, लेकिन फार्मेसीज कहीं पर भी 24 आवर सर्विसेज थी फार्मेसीज की, इसलिए फ्यूचर में हमेशा का है ये टिल एंड ऑफ द लाइफ, टिल एंड ऑफ दिस यूनिवर्सल कुछ भी हो, एंड ऑफ तक फार्मेसी तो डैम श्योर चलने वाला है।
They are going to be placed in various hospitals as nursing assistants or home health assistants or pharmacy assistants as well, with basic salary of 10K above. So that amount is really it's a huge amount for them because they are very young and then they are unemployed and they have a lot of fear and like the scarcity about the future. But this is the right time to take up these courses and immediately getting the job with good salary so where they can support their family members.
The country of 1.3 billion people is the world's second worst hit by the pandemic after the United States and has already recorded more than 10 million infections and 140,000 deaths. Now, a quick update. According to a White House spokesperson, the President Donald Trump had signed the massive COVID-19 relief bill. That's some good news. And when we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and Edmonton, Alberta. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
It's time to sing!
It's time to eat!
Hindi nga, it's time to sing na nga.
Hindi, it's time to eat!
Kantahan nga ito kantahan to.
Kainan to!
O sige, ganito na lang. Para magkasundo tayo,
It's
singing
singing
time! It's singing time! Mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi, magsisimula na sa January 4, dito lang sa Net 25.
Events happen around us all the time. In our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. The new coronavirus strain suspected to be already here in the U.S. is causing people to worry. Many ask, is this another cause for alarm? Washington Bureau Chief Ace Ramirez files this report. Ace?
Thank you, Anna. You've probably heard people, especially the press, governments, and even the scientific community refer to the emerging new coronavirus variant as strain, lineage, and mutant interchangeably. It may sound like a line from a sci-fi movie, but there have been reports from Europe, particularly in London and southeast England, that a new variant strain of SARS-CoV-2 has emerged, causing alarm in the European Union and other parts of the world. The main concern was that the mutations are potentially more rapidly transmissible than other circulating strains of SARS-CoV-2. The Center for Disease Control, or CDC, acknowledges the emergence of the new variant strain, but says scientists are working to learn more about this variant to better understand how easily it might be transmitted. The CDC refers to the variant as SARS-CoV-2 VOC 2020-12/01. VOC 2020-12/01 stands for Variant of Concern from 2020 December, or simply refer to it as B.1.1.7. According to WebMD, if a virus has a random change that makes it easier to infect people and it spreads, the strain will become more common, just like the influenza viruses that change from year to year. The very reason why we get flu vaccine every year. This means all viruses change, mutate, or a new variant emerges over time. And the scientific world calls these different versions of the virus a new strain. The CDC says SARS-CoV-2 mutates regularly, about one new mutation in its genome every 2 weeks. These mutations may fall under two categories, which are synonymous or silent meaning they cause no change in the structure of the proteins they encode, or non-synonymous, meaning they may change the codon in a way that leads to an amino acid change. The VOC 2020/01 has 14 non-synonymous and 6 synonymous mutations. The CDC has identified the potential consequences of the new mutations. 1. Ability to spread more quickly in humans. There is evidence that one mutation, the D614G, has this property and to spread more quickly. Number 2, ability to cause either milder or more severe disease in humans. There's no evidence that VOC 2020/12/01 produces more severe illness than other SARS-CoV-2 variants. Number 3, ability to evade detection by specific diagnostic tests. Most commercial polymerase chain reaction, or PCR, have multiple targets to detect the virus, such that even if a mutation impacts one of the targets, the other PCR targets will still work. Number 4, decreased susceptibility to therapeutic agents such as monoclonal antibodies. And number 5, ability to evade vaccine-induced immunity. The virus would likely need to accumulate multiple mutations in the spike protein to evade immunity induced by vaccines. Among these 5 potential consequences, the ability to evade vaccine, or number 5, the ability to evade vaccine-induced immunity may be the most concerning, but the CDC affirms that there's no evidence yet that such immune pressure from vaccination may accelerate emergence of escaped mutants or the ability of microorganisms to mutate to avoid destruction by the host cells. More discussions on this topic can be found on cdc.gov. Should we be alarmed? We have to be vigilant and strive to be educated about the topic. The CDC, as early as November 2020, launched the National SARS-CoV-2 Strain Surveillance, or NS3, program to increase the number and representatives of viruses undergoing characterization. Data from this and other efforts being implemented are continuously analyzed at CDC, and genomic data are rapidly uploaded to public databases for use by researchers, public health agencies, and industry. From Gaithersburg, Maryland, I'm Ace Ramirez. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Ace, for that very informative report. Amidst a surge in COVID-19 infections, prisoners and paramedics in Alberta are clamoring for the vaccine. In Edmonton, Bureau Chief Thomas Likeness joins us tonight. Thomas?
Thank you, Anna. You know, one of those requests is going to create some ethical debate in Alberta. A prisoners' advocacy group says inmates should be given priority for the COVID-19 vaccine. The John Howard Society made the call in a tweet earlier this month, and this poses an ethical problem for public health officials. There's only so much vaccine to go around at this point. Alberta's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Dina Hinshaw, says, yeah, it's a dilemma to decide who goes first.
It's an important point that anyone who lives in a setting where what we might term a congregate setting, where there are lots of people living in close proximity to each other, there is a high risk of spread in all of those types of settings, and correctional facilities are just one example. That is part, again, there's the multiple factors to consider when we're looking at phase 2. But again, those decisions have not yet been made, and they will be, of course, challenging. And as I mentioned, we'll have a clear ethical dimension that we need to make sure we're considering.
The Society goes on to say outbreaks are becoming more common in Canadian prisons and jails. In a news release, it says the government has failed to take measures to stop the spread of COVID in jail. It criticizes correctional services for not isolating newly transferred prisoners, and it adds not enough cleaning supplies are being provided and prisoners are being refused medical assistance. The Society says prisoners are poorly ventilated, physical distancing is impossible, and this makes it an ideal environment for coronavirus to spread. The Society recommends the government allow medically vulnerable and low-risk prisoners to serve their sentences in the community. Meanwhile, paramedics in the province are pushing to be moved up on the priority list for vaccines. They're not in the first phase of the rollout, but their union wants to make sure they're in the second. Dr. Hinshaw says, well, it all comes down to risk.
It's really important to know that the decisions about the first phase of vaccine were focused on individuals who were at the highest risk of severe outcomes, those who were in close contact with those individuals, and the groups within the healthcare system where there is critical pressures. And again, those identifications of those groups were part of a discussion that involved, again, those risks of exposure, the risks of the worker shortages, and the combination of risks of introduction as well into the locations where those people work.
Bottom line, not everyone can be at the front of the line. While we wait for our turn to get the vaccine, I wish you all good health. Remember to take care of others. Take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current affairs. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Thomas. You know, it really does pose an ethical situation there, right? Ethical question, because
it is a dilemma. It really is.
It really is. I mean, the prisons, you know, as Henshaw mentioned, they live in a closed environment, closed quarters. So they really need to be protected, because just how prevalent is the COVID-19 cases there in the prisons there, Thomas?
Well, the latest numbers I've seen, and these are about 5 days old because of the holidays, they haven't been updated, but there were 201 active cases, and this is just in federal penitentiaries, most of them in 3 penitentiaries, one in Ontario, one in Manitoba, and one in Saskatchewan. There have also been outbreaks in provincially run jails, remand centers, where people are either awaiting trial or awaiting to be placed in a prison after conviction. The problem is, and you mentioned this is just like any other congregate setting. You know, hospitals, nursing homes, those kind of settings, the virus can spread quickly. And in federal prisons, there is another problem. The population tends to be older. The average age in federal prison is 50 years of age. So this again, they're a little more vulnerable. Bottom line is a big ethical problem. Big ethical problem.
Well, I'm sure you'll keep us updated, Thomas. Now, I just wanted to ask, because I saw somewhere that also the new variant of the COVID-19 is also been spotted there in Canada.
Yes, actually, I just got a late news release this afternoon, and a third case has been spotted in Ontario. The first 2 had no known travel history, no contact with anybody that had been to the UK, but the third one had spent some time in the UK. It's probably been around for some time. Now that we're looking for it, we're going to find more of it. Again, yeah.
You said it right, Thomas. It's probably been there, maybe not all along, but I mean, now that, like you said, now that we're looking for it, we'll probably find more cases. So again, it's important for the public to stick with the updates from health experts, because now we're seeing opposing opinions. Will the vaccines work on these new variant? What are your thoughts there, Thomas?
Well, again, Moderna and Pfizer say they think it will. It probably will, but they're not leaving it to chance. As a matter of fact, Moderna says it's going to start testing specifically with this variant in the next couple of weeks. The big thing public health officials are telling us is don't panic. Again, keep the best defenses, the basic hygiene, the hand washing, wearing gloves where you have to, face masks, of course, and social distancing, and stay away from social gatherings for the time being. That's your best defense.
Yes, definitely. We'll just stick with all of that. The same safety measures that we've been doing, and continue to stay safe. Well, thank you, Thomas, for your update. Always a pleasure to have you on. Stay safe.
Thank you, Anna, and you stay safe.
When we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Washington, D.C., Fort Worth, Texas, and Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Eagle News, America. Stay with us.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas, a one-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia. Tune into Mata ng Aguila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Aguila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science, and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to thank our help out, Laura.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
This is Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. In honor of Dr. Anthony S. Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Mayor Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C. proclaimed his birthday as Dr. Anthony S. Fauci Day. In Washington, Eliza Gonzalez-Manglikmot joins us this evening for the details. Eliza?
Thank you, Anna. A pleasant Sunday evening to you and a wonderful Monday morning to our Philippine friends. You're correct, Anna. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser proclaimed Thursday, December 24, 2020, as Dr. Anthony S. Fauci Day in Washington, D.C. Anna, December 24, 2020 was Dr. Fauci's 80th birthday. Now, Mayor Bowser called Dr. Fauci a hero to the nation during this undeniably and extremely difficult year, who has been working also tirelessly to save lives and guide the nation's response to and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Anna, Mayor Bowser says DC is proud to count Fauci among the many residents of the district who are sacrificing so much to keep communities healthy and safe. Mayor Bowser issued the honor on behalf of all Washingtonians in gratitude and recognition of Dr. Fauci's service to the nation and the city. Here are some interesting details mentioned in the mayor's proclamation. Anthony S. Fauci, or Dr. Fauci, has served as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases since 1984. The nation's top infectious disease expert has worked to promote public health and spearheaded efforts to prevent, diagnose, and treat established infectious diseases. Dr. Fauci also has advised 6 presidents on HIV, AIDS, and many other domestic and global health issues. And Dr. Fauci has been a leading voice as a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, where he has helped to coordinate the nation's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Fauci and his wife, Christine, are longtime residents of Washington, D.C., having called the Wesley Heights neighborhood in Ward 3 their home since 1977. Dr. Fauci will continue his service to the nation during these times as a chief medical advisor in the incoming Biden administration. Anna, it's now 42 degrees Fahrenheit or 6 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital. In Washington, Eliza Gonzalez, Manglik Mott, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Eliza, for that fun update. What an amazing birthday gift for Dr. Fauci. Now, share with us another detail in that proclamation, Eliza, that mentions Dr. Fauci's favorite baseball team.
It's so obvious, Anna, but the proclamation also made mention that Dr. Fauci is, in fact, a diehard Washington Nationals fan. Anna, did you know that he threw the inaugural ceremonial first pitch of the 2020 Major League Baseball season at Nationals Park? You know, Anna, 2 days before this proclamation, which we mentioned as his birthday as well, Dr. Fauci received his first dose of Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. Back to you, Anna.
Yes, I do remember that. I'm not a baseball fan. I'm not a sports fan actually in general, but I do remember seeing him throwing that first baseball for that major league. So. Well, thank you, Eliza, for that fun update, as I've mentioned, and stick around for our roundtable discussion in the end here.
I will. Thank you, Anna.
Now let's head over to Texas. A huge mulch fire continues to burn in Fort Worth, and the fire department there is closely monitoring the situation. Eagle News correspondent Lovely Anderson reports. Lovely?
Thank you, Anna, and howdy, howdy from the Lone Star State. Despite December being the coldest month of the year, the heat is still on in Cowtown City, and that's Fort Worth, Texas for everyone else around the world, as our fire department is monitoring a large mulch fire which began overnight Sunday. Crews responded to reports of a fire at the 6200 block of Salt Road in the southeast part of the city, and they worked on it overnight to contain it. According to officials, 4 piles of mulch, approximately 40 feet tall, began burning on their own before 1 a.m. As mulch decomposes, it generates heat, which can sometimes lead to fires. Crews have been working tirelessly overnight to contain the blaze, and this afternoon, the department has scaled down its response to a single brush truck that will keep an eye on the fire until it burns itself out. No injuries at this time have been reported. Meanwhile, I hope you all are staying safe and healthy there in your part of the world. In Fort Worth, Texas, I'm Lovely Anderson, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Lovely. That's unfortunate, but from where you're at, can you see the smoke? And also,
yes.
You would think, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Yes, Anna, actually, today on my way to church, I noticed some smoke in the area, and I wasn't sure what was going on. And when I saw it all over the news, it's really sad because that area that it's in, it's really in a bit of an undeveloped area. So it's sad to see that fire.
Also, you would think that the cooler weather could help a bit, right? What's the weather been there like?
We hope so, but of course here in my part, our weather is all over the place. Our weather is it's cold, hot some days. Sometimes it's really cold, below freezing levels, and then the next day it's in the 60s and the 70s. So I can't tell. I can't say if it's a good or bad thing because we never know what the weather is.
Yes, it's been unpredictable weather here too in Las Vegas. It's been pretty warm for December. So yeah, I guess, that's how it is for when it comes to weather. It can be unpredictable.
Yes.
Well, Lovely, thank you for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure, and I hope you stay safe.
Will do.
Thank you. Eight new sites in Nevada are being prepared for Amazon's expansion in the state, anticipated to create thousands of jobs to support operations. In Las Vegas, Eagle News correspondent Lori Jarvina joins us this evening. Lori?
Thank you, Anna. Some good news on the business front for Nevadans is that the giant e-commerce company, Amazon, headed by Jeff Bezos and based in Seattle, Washington, is continuing its plans to establish 8 new sites here in Nevada. Earlier this month, Governor Steve Sisolak made the statement on his official Twitter account. This is welcome news for the entire state of Nevada. We are grateful for Amazon's decision to continue to invest and support our local communities and aid us in creating thousands of career opportunities for our citizens of Nevada. According to a press release from Amazon, the business giant's investment in Nevada will create thousands of jobs to support their operations. Among the 8 new sites includes an 855,000 square foot fulfillment center in North Las Vegas, which will also support customer delivery operations. Amazon broke ground on this location in October and will create an additional 1,500 new full-time jobs when it opens in 2021. The site will be the second fulfillment center in the state using Amazon robotics to help associates pick, pack, and ship smaller items to customers. The sites are expected to create more than 2,000 permanent full and part-time jobs with a minimum $15 per hour wage and comprehensive benefits starting on day 1. Amazon's new delivery stations in Nevada include Henderson, delivery station opening in 2021, Las Vegas, delivery station opening in 2021, North Las Vegas, delivery station opened in September 2020, Reno, delivery station opened in October of 2020, and Reno AMXL Fulfillment Center delivery station opening in 2021. This site supports the fulfillment and delivery of large products from televisions to couches, powered by drivers employed by Amazon's delivery service partners or national third-party carriers. Additionally, Amazon has hired hundreds of employees to support 2 additional facilities in North Las Vegas, including Mulch by Amazon, opened in September 2020, and Print on Demand, opened in October. According to Amazon's Vice President of Global Customer Fulfillment, Alicia Bowler-Davis, Amazon is proud to continue investing in the state of Nevada, where we opened our first fulfillment center in Fernley more than 20 years ago. Amazon currently operates 11 sites in Nevada that support customer fulfillment and delivery operations, employing more than 10,500 full and part-time employees across the state. In Las Vegas, Nevada, Lori Jarvina, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Lori. That certainly is great news for Las Vegas economy. Have you heard anything if the scheduled openings is being hindered at all by the pandemic?
The only news I saw, Anna, was that it's a thankful reprieve from the pandemic, that we are going to be able to create more jobs, but I haven't heard anything yet, but we'll keep you posted on the dates if they were affected by pandemic.
Great. Now, before I let you go, what was the last thing you ordered from Amazon?
I'm sure everyone is devotedly supporting Amazon's business by keeping the online shopping going on while we stay at home. So the last thing that I did order was, my daughter loves puzzles and she was due for a new one. So I did order her one, and in addition to that, I ordered one for my Auntie Myrna in San Diego so they could online or virtually do it together. So we'll see how that works out. Anna?
That's a great idea. So you got them a puzzle each and they're working on it together.
And they don't know it's 500 pieces, so I'm kind of challenging them against my 8-year-old daughter to complete this puzzle. Anna.
We'll see who wins. Make sure you give us an update on that. Now, I know we try to support local businesses as well, but reality is sometimes it really is just convenient to order from Amazon. Well, thank you, Lori, for joining us tonight. Thank you for that report. Stay safe. When we come back, a travel idea from our Hawaii Bureau. Tips on how to keep our vegetable gardens productive all year. Plus, learn the recipe to this easy, no-bake, 5-ingredient Oreo cheesecake. And today's roundtable, we will play the fruit and veggie alphabet game. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Yo, what's up, Happy Tips? Kapiling nyo ba rin ang batang ang masunurin ng baby boy ng Happy Time. Bili na ng itlog. Bumigan na mo! Kuya,
Congratulations, Mask Sunurin hosts Aiki, for winning first runner-up in the 2020 Philpop Songwriting Festival.
First runner-up from Metro Manila Cluster, Destiny by Aiki, interpreter Kevin Yadaw and Junior Crown.
Your entry, Destiny, has indeed found its destiny in the music scene. Continue to inspire us with your brand of music. Your Happy Time family is truly proud of you.
The search for the best continues. Tagisan ng Galing Part 2 is now accepting audition entries. Kung ikaw ay 21 to 59 years old at may angking galing sa pagsayaw, mapasolo, duo o grupo man, magpadala na ng audition entry. Narito ang mga guidelines. Para makapagpasa ng entry sa dancing category, contact Shing at 0995-880-8004. Ito na ang pagkakataon mo para maging tagisan ng galing grand winner at manalo ng 2 million pesos. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, i-like ang Tagisan ng Galing Facebook page. Kaya sali na!
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Anna Clee from Las Vegas. After months of quarantines, lockdowns, and restrictions due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us are definitely looking forward to the new year for some form of travel, just about anywhere and away from our homes. So here's an idea for everyone's consideration, courtesy of our Hawaii Bureau. Check it out. Thank you to our Hawaii Bureau for sharing that with us. Now, let's ask our Eagle News team here, once it's safer again to travel, real quickly, what's your first on your list out-of-town destination? We'll start with Lori.
If it's a quick drive, Anna, definitely San Diego. And if we can fly, and we're brave enough to do that, then flight to Hawaii. And that little clip that we just watched makes me all the more want to go visit.
How about Thomas? Where would you go?
Well, as much as I'd like to share some locomotive with Alfred in Hawaii, now my first time, and I said this on the Canadian show this morning, the Philippines.
Okay. And Eliza?
Anna, proximity-wise and budget-wise, it has to be either Disneyland in California or Disney World in Orlando for my kids.
Lovely. Where would you go?
I am planning a really quick trip to New Orleans here in a couple of days. Before I close out the year, I want a really good plate of Creole food.
Sounds good. I've never been there myself, so maybe that'll be on my list as well. Well, during the pandemic, a lot of us tried our hand in vegetable gardening in anticipation of a possible food shortage. If you remember, EBC friend Jim Sewell encouraged us to start our mini backyard gardens. Tonight, he is back with several tips on how we can make what we started last, even during the winter season. Take a look.
If seeing barren shelves in grocery stores when the pandemic started got you thinking about food security, you were not alone. Across the nation, hardware stores, greenhouses, and seed companies quickly saw their inventory of plants, seeds, and soil amendments fly off shelves as consumers flocked to their backyards to start their own gardens.
It's now the first week of winter. That doesn't mean that your garden has to stop producing. I'm going to share with you 2 tips to keep your garden productive throughout the year.
The first thing you want to do is choose plant varieties that enjoy cool weather. Plants in the brassica family, such as cabbage, bok choy, broccoli, and kale, thrive in cooler weather and can usually withstand a light frost.
But in the wintertime, you can expect temperatures to drop below freezing. To protect your plants during these cold, freezing nights, you really need something like this. And this is a hoop house that I've been using for the past few years.
Hoop houses like these are ideal protections since they are easy to make and require inexpensive materials.
Hoop houses work by creating an area of insulated air for your plants, and that air through the day gets trapped by the sunlight passing through the clear plastic that'll warm up the air and create a nice warm environment on the inside that even after the sun goes down, that warm air slowly cools, which will largely keep your plants nice and comfortable throughout a long winter night.
I have 4-foot by 4-foot raised beds, and to convert them into mini hoop houses, I simply press 3 8-foot long, 3/4 inch diameter PVC pipes into the ground to form my hoops. Then for added strength, I attach a 4-foot long furring strip across the top. Then I drape roughly a 10-foot by 10-foot piece of clear plastic sheeting over my hoops and attach it to my raised beds with staples. I now have a nice comfy house for my plant made from easily sourced materials from local hardware stores, food security, nutritious eats, exercise, stress relief, and an excuse to get outside and be in the sunshine are all great reasons to have vegetables growing year-round.
From my backyard in Pensacola, Florida, this is Jim Sewell, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Jim. Now, don't you feel good knowing you can actually grow veggies even during the cold season? Well, as a reward, let's head over to San Antonio, Texas, where EBC friend Gia Ganuelas Roldan invites us to her kitchen for this easy, no-bake 5-ingredient Oreo cheesecake recipe. Gia?
Cheesecake and Oreos, two words that can bring delight to any dessert lover. When combined together, they make an irresistibly sweet and creamy dish, great for serving at parties or enjoying by yourself.
Hello, I am Gia Ginmalas Roldan and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, I will be sharing my super easy version of Oreo cheesecake using only 5 ingredients with no baking required. Let's begin.
For our ingredients, we need the following: 20 pieces of Oreo cookies, 6 pieces of Oreo cookies for dusting and Oreo cubes, 60 grams of melted butter, 1/2 cup of whipped cream, 160 grams of white chocolate, 450 grams of cream cheese or 2 boxes of cream cheese. First, we're going to separate the filling. We're going to add this filling with our cream cheese later on. And then let's crush these cookies using a rolling pin. After crushing the cookies, let's add a melted butter. Mix it together. Then let's press the crumb mixture firmly. Then let's put it on the fridge. On a separate bowl, let's mix the cream cheese and the whipped cream together. Let's also add the white chocolate. So I melted this first, and then the filling from the Oreo. Mix it together. Let's slice this Oreo into 4 pieces so that we can add this as a topping and add this with our mixture for our cheesecake. Then let's transfer the mixture to the container. And for our toppings, let's add more crushed Oreo cookies. Let's set aside this and put it on the fridge.
I hope you enjoyed the simple version of no-bake Oreo cheesecake. In San Antonio, Texas, I am Gia Ganwalas Roldan, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Gia. That looks good. Go well with coffee or a cup of tea. Now, before we play our fruit and veggie alphabet game, let's ask quickly our team here, what fruit and vegetable are mainstays in your kitchen? Lori?
We always have a tub of baby spinach and bananas.
How about you, Thomas?
Bananas, definitely. Apples, a lot of the time. Things like that. Oranges.
Bananas. How about Eliza?
Just like Lori and Thomas, bananas and bok choy. We never run out of bok choy.
And Lovely, what about you?
Well, since I have my mom here, it's a typical kitchen. So we always have tomatoes, onions, and garlic. And I always see ginger. We never run out of those things.
Ginger is it's good.
How about you, Anna?
Me, bananas, onions, and tomatoes. Always have those. Now, let's play this alphabet, veggie, and alphabet game. In less than 5 seconds, mention a fruit or vegetable in alphabetical order as we go around the panel. We'll see how far we can go before we end. So, Lori, we'll start with you with letter A.
Letter A, ampalaya.
Thomas.
Bananas.
Eliza.
Carrots.
Lovely. I think Lovely, we might have lost connection there. So D, what's D? I pass. Lori.
Daikon.
There you go.
Oh, daikon. Thomas.
E is eggplant.
Eliza, I think we'll make it to Lovely real quick here. Eliza?
F, figs.
Oh, that would have been mine. And Lovely, G.
G is tough. I'll have to pass.
Okay. All right. Well,
green.
All the time we have, we're not going to make it past G. And you know who could really use veggies and fruits to stay healthy are, of course, our healthcare workers. So let's continue to thank them, first responders and essential workers, with a round of applause. Thank you, and we appreciate all of you. That is today's Eagle News America. Thank you, team, for joining us. Thank you, viewers, for joining us. I'm Anna Kui. We live in interesting times.
May sakit na lumalaganap, lunas di pa nahahanap. May paraan para wag kumalat, kaalaman ay ipamalas. Pag-aralan o dali na, simulan ang disiplina. Mapahamak ay hindi na, lahat ito ay makakaya. May tamang paraan ng paghuhugas ng kamay. Distansya, pila-pila, takpan ng stay sa bahay. Kung magiging kaisa tayo, nabilang sa pagsupong, sama-sama natin talunin. Stop the COVID-19. Stop the COVID-19.
Yo! Lahat tayo ay nababahala, ang dami ng gawain na naaantala. Atensyon nyo'y kailangan ng italaga. Kailangan mo na magtiis at magtiyaga. Yes! Kalusugan ay kaligtasan, lumalalang sakit ay kayang iwasan. Mag-ingat, sumunod, ito'y malulunasan. Darating din ang ginhawa ng kinabukasan. Ha!
May tamang paraan ng paghuhugas ng kamay. Distansya, pila-pila, takpan ng bibig. Stay sa bahay. Kung magiging kaisa tayo, kami na sa pagsupo, sama-sama nating talunin. Stop the COVID-19. Stop the COVID-19. Kung magiging kaisa tayo, kami na sa pagsupo, sama-sama nating talunin. Stop the COVID-19. Stop the COVID-19.
Mga mahalagang pangyayari na naganap di lamang sa bansa, kundi maging sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, ating balikan sa Pilipinas 2020. Tinutukan ng Eagle News Team sa iba't ibang sulok ng bansa, pati na sa ipayong dagat. Pilipinas 2020. Hatid sa inyo ng Net25, Radyo Agila, EagleNews.ph at ng Eagle News Live. Pilipinas 2020. Abangan!
The search for the best continues. Tagisan ng Galing Part 2 is now accepting audition entries. Kung ikaw ay 21 to 59 years old at may angking galing sa pagkanta, mapa-solo, duet, trio o banda man, magpadala na ng audition entry. Narito ang mga guidelines. Para makapagpasa ng entry sa singing category, contact Nikki sa 0977-651-9504. Ito na ang pagkakataon mo para maging tagisan ng galing grand winner at manalo ng 2 million pesos. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, i-like ang Tagisan ng Galing Facebook page. Kaya sali na!
Lulutong bagong game show ang Net25 para sa lahat ng mahihilig magmukbang at kumanta. Pag-combine natin yan, equals all-out kantahan at mukbangan in one. Ang headline ng balitang ito ay It's Singing Time!
It's Singing Time! Mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi, magsisimula na sa January 4, dito lang sa Net25.
Gusto namin maging happy ang mga viewers sa amin pagpapatawa, sa amin pag-entertain, iba-ibang segments and games.
Batanes! Batanes!
The jackpot prize of 58,000 pesos ang tamang sagot na hinahanap natin.